Hello, YouTube. Hello, species value nature system. My name is Anthony Wall. I'm an expert on the nature of, excuse me, I'm an expert on the nature of English grammar and of predicate value, which is invisible but still discernible. Value/value nature relationship to and as the value of the subject, any subject, simultaneously, distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously in demonstration of the simultaneous nature. That is the value of Earth's distinct and non-distinct relationship to the rest of space nature as its relationship to itself, while being and then as the value of its relationship to the rest of space nature, and where and has, when, where and as and how Earth's distinct and non-distinct relationship to the rest of space nature is most probably because we are closest to the greatest inherent nature of volume of this one identity of value progression in the way it is self-generating. Now I only have a degree. I have a bachelor of arts in bachelor of arts in English arts, doing parts, and I fought for a number of years, like 5 years, almost exactly, in the boxing arts, open class amateur fighter, in like a dozen states, maybe more: Ohio, Florida, Massachusetts, Maine. I was going to fight in Vermont, and right before leading up to the Trade Center attack, people started making me confessions to me about other people made confessions about it when I was growing up. Their roles were used as identity the ground locations with courts and with police forms criminally involved. Former director of the FBI, various natures of courts, one-way reports. So when they have people pretending to be about business legitimately. See, they have the voices of presidents worse than extorted, where they have originally and still forced markets positions, tactical ulterior from the value nature system that is complete always and actually has science attached to our quality of fact treatment nature, actually what is true always, not there are any exceptions. Interbranch have crime methods, for example, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. They pretend answers to questions are either A or B, and they know they are already involved with database racketeering, faked conversations with people racketeering. They know they are criminally already having used Mueller to pretend they have the right to lie in contexts in ways they don't. Each identity of the FBI, originally and still, is recorded criminally foreign influenced. Their roles with the transition from ACA to RICO, Organized Crime Control Act, to Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organization Act, sequence shifts, and they're actually recorded crime methods and actually recorded crime natures. For example, also preventing the experience of adults who are honest. And these are people speaking lies to everyone through life. Everyone's a liar, and they're just going to blame on that. And they pretend, oh, but we're good liars. They're not. These are people involved with abuse of each age of fact, treatment, nature, sickly simultaneously, sickly distinctly too, and effectively having made invested everyone self-valuing how everyone blamed other things other than themselves for the real cause of negative value nature progression acts natures. Because in the real course of logic is forbidden free speech originally and still. Because we can see right through these sciences each rolls with the abridged constitution. So what needs to pretend other speaks about amendments rather than the simultaneous values already there. We need to remove legislation ill and uses of it actually recorded and demonstrated how they're recorded. That's what our founders want us to do, need us to do. That's what they want. See, we also have positive treatments. We have violence that the courts are involved with, sexual, medical with the kids, and their uses of their identity ground locations against their family members. The media is involved with this. So what are they going to do? They pretend to be about the industry, how be oh, this is how the money works. The markets are hostage. They have recorded. This is the algorithm. This is these five bonded and self-generating, distinctly and non-distinctly as the Trinity, distinctly and non-distinctly and simultaneously as five pillars of logic, five more than pillars, identities of volume, as one identity's identity of relationship to itself that is making more of that with and as an identity it shares to all three parts of that as those five parts. Also within the hierarchy of sequence nature. So this is invisible but so discernible all ways using sequence actually true. Not denying the slightest exceptions. Actually what is true always. Not denying exceptions. Actually what is true as the active quality of fact treatment nature. Actively what is true as our progressive value and as our identity's complete course. Whereas in how each individual is a complete course is supposed to stay that complete nature of volume. Simultaneously, while we're a semi nature in relationship to our identity of positive, why we need water, how we need the same things. So box things. Even emotions are not let understood. We have physical delusions and criminally foreign influence premises treatments of private, like mental health. But we have to counter the judges recorded simultaneously already involved with racketeering acts and methods with them. And these are methods that are recorded involved with them, forging names, switching names, medical racketeering acts against people, pretending people have mental diagnosis, so pretending forging names, switching names, pretending they have conversations, recording themselves with other people, and after that, in short conversations, out of sequence, involved with those other racketeering acts and methods with them recorded. Judges, various natures of courts, leading up to and in the Trade Center attack in New York from Connecticut into Branch. And then with cases in Connecticut leading up to them and since criminally involved inside outside of the courts, inside outside of police departments, inside outside of state police, inside outside DMV, inside outside the DOT, locations like on the Burlington Turnpike, associated with Eric Jensen, associated with a whole bunch of people with this Kerr family and this DeMorrow family with interbranch judges and a Dillon family, houses in my area and people around. They have involved with their evidence racketeering. I never had a conversation with, even though they're in my grade, including with the um, um, police chief's daughter, an extended family member, recorded and confessed, demonstrating involved racketeering with roles like sequence shifts. Confessed, recorded, demonstrated involved with it with a Mayano family. A whole bunch of natures of worse than extortion, identity thefts, frauds. These are people with racketeering also along waterways and routes, like the one that goes by the state judicial branch offices after it passes over the bridge from Glastonbury, all the way through Weathersfield, through Rocky Hill, all the way to where it ends in Cromwell. And along these places, all involved with the house slash SMI area, involved with racketeering with kids' databases, and with drugs with kids, and with no, and no with forensics locations and families, involved with human trafficking acts, also with and all kinds of nature of crime acts with WFSB, attaching me to fake conversations, fake locations, and fake ties to other people with my family members. They did this against people involved with the people they used for racketeering acts in collusion with the trade center sequence shifts. They're also associated with, as people from Connecticut further enter cities, all these official foreign and domestic families, like especially a whole bunch of natures of foreign families are involved with a Joe DeMoro family. I never had a class with in high school. Never sat with him at a lunch table in high school. Joe DeMoro. He's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with a house that came into my school when I was in fourth grade. The kid, the brother, is my and recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the O'Brien family, and with a whole bunch of people tied to prison cliques like Sandy Hook, with foreign and domestic medical racketeering, overt criminal enterprises, and their roles with racketeering with uses of the stewards of the Witness Protection Program, involved with them with racketeering acts with those same overt criminal enterprises, confessions everywhere I go. And connected, like Jack Heitner, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with CCSU, a whole bunch of police forms on Franklin Avenue through time. These are a whole bunch of other people with the English department also recorded, confessed, demonstrated racketeering roles with a whole bunch of people tied to the Wethersfield police chief's daughter and self. And these are people also recorded, confessed, demonstrated racketeering roles with a former years ago police chief associated with the reportedly a old girlfriend of his that lived at 80 Churchill Drive. Which is there's a Bob Chase who confessed and recorded with others that a Phil Colella is involved further with the principal sex offender with them and with their crime acts. Now they pretended they were just doing their job, but they broke the rules when they were doing their job and made confessions to me. Because I tried to report, I caught them with tied untimely deaths, whole bunch of natures of racketeering on and off colleges and universities they use through time with criminal uses of the campus other too. There are more sexual, medical, and interbranch families and uses of their own kids. They use the governor behind my back, lying about what is actually recorded over the online and over the email and over the internet. They pretend they don't understand people. That's why they're forging names and switching names. That's it. Their sequence shifts. That's it. Their confessions to me and to others since before the Trade Center attack. Then when I tried to report it, they arrested me, but by trying to pretend they afterwards with a promise to appear. Different police in the car from different towns pretend the an officer McDonald's. I don't know if that's his real name or not, but there's also an officer. There's also a person. I don't know if he's an officer. Steve Manos. He's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with a whole bunch of racketeering with FBI and CIA, and a Scalora family on and off schools, intercities. And these are people involved with human trafficking acts with the and as agencies per them and people with Wethersfield police involved with them with racketeering acts against me and my family and little kids, worse than the principal sex offender and with their involvements of it. Now, there were also Wethersfield police recorded, confessed, demonstrated, and confirmed involved with Local 230 and with Facebook used for sexual, medical, drugs, and all kinds of hurt on boys and girls of each age of fact treatment nature. So we have a whole bunch of sick people that are training, like CCSU interdepartments. They have the acting department. They have a whole bunch of judges recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed involved with racketeering, like with a detective Samuto who pretended he was an arresting officer of me, switching identities with Officer McDonald's, also because of his confessions related to other people involved with them interbranch with rape threats, with uses of the New Britain Superior Court's Facebook page for that. They were already involved with racketeering acts in a pattern of confessions and requests for help to me and to others before the Trade Center attack, as the people from Connecticut interbranch private intercampuses of each age through time involved criminally. Like two Cuddy brothers. I never had a conversation with there's like four of them actually. And then there's like even more of them of Delafair brothers. People associated with these probate judges family, extended family members, involved with a whole bunch of nature's racketeering with the kids legal, but also with it overtly actually not really legal. And they're involved with a whole bunch of natures of racketeering, crimes with their patients and criminals before they're in there, with child, including a principal sex offender. See, we have men and women that can't be pretend to be positive in real life. So they use the identity. They already have the statutes, criminally foreign influence, delusions, raw, originally still uses of their identity or ground locations to stack things pretended into databases. Before they do that, they're already victim predators with their families, roles with stacking databases. Time these people are going to walk to lunch, they're going to be this thing. Other people are going to pretend. They're going to adapt each age too. This is why they used to beat the kids and no one said anything about it. This is why the whole time everyone's a fake when they speak about black or white or color. And humanity never gets its voice, never gets its course, why we are individual grouped and together species. This is in relationship to the hierarchy of sequence, which is two ways at once. The same reason there is not, things aren't either true or not. It can be true. In other words, that space's identity of relationship to itself, this identity of value progression is second, while it is simultaneously third and first at once. This is why there are three bonded semi-natures. And this is also, there are five bonded semi-natures. And then there's that complete, more than strength. See, this uses smaller than small and the value of the progression from small. This uses bigger than big and the value of progression from big. While it's showing every individual group and all together is valued to correlations, identity, which is where correlations expanding value as three natures of it in our range. But we also have this complete identity of value progression, complete identity of relationship to itself, and have the value of that in our range. And that is the cause of that is what brings the Santa Claus, which the little rap guy movies and stuff are about. The Santa Claus, as because there's three natures of clauses. There's an independent clause, there's subordinated clause, and there's the Santa Claus. So this is decipher. This is more than just theory, but this is also counter theory because we're gonna have to pull out the fake. CT must break. CT is cherry tree, not oak nor peach. So one must teach. Free speech. So WFSB, Fox Connecticut News, and WTNH recorded, confessed, and demonstrated also involved with interstates, intercampuses racketeering of all natures. Like we have fire campuses, and this is everyone speaking through other people, and this is with the crime methods of the courts preventing the law by crime methods that are completely verbal, completely database racketeering rolls with them, with the branches of government as themselves individually, but also individually grouped and together, distinctly, non distinctly, and simultaneously, not by accident, with a whole bunch of other nations here. Not by accident, if I even mention it, even though I'm trying to help the species nature of volume, which you can only help by taking us out of the negative value nature progression, the identity of negative value nature progression, worse than just self value. And how? These are not means. Fake branches bow, build wall. So you need to show people how to think. But we have people that are fighting about who's right or wrong, only allowed to speak if they're going to leave out sequence shifts. So we have sequence. This is also values. They're forcing group value and forcing nation value overall values, forcing species value before individual value in sequence, so it's not simultaneous. When it is simultaneously those three value, it is individually first. So we have, it's all right, we have people that with these narratives, all abridged constitution, abridged sciences, abridged natures of industries and justifications of that. We have the Federal Trade Communications recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with worse than criminal incompetence in relationship to the FBI's roles and Connecticut State Police roles with the perfect world as a phrase involved with their narrative with this racketeering here. Also involved originally and still, like for example, with witch trials. With this method that knew that each modern nation would have to blame the real causes for negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, acts like predicate acts. Natures like criminal insidiousness natures, wrongdoers, wrongdoing, blaming on other things others themselves in reaction to it as fact cheating nature. See, that was valued not only by the proverbial devil here, the proverbial worse than racketeering method, worse than war crimes, simple racketeering method. They use color. That pretends all this time that it can't understand and read the delusions and the criminally foreign influence premises treatments and sequence treatments of every one intercultural interbranch regarding their treatments of value and of the time and of that what really is behind the gun shootings on areas where there are a lot of shootings. Even if and especially if made up, because these are the same people enter cities, enter different characteristics of the cities. Behind every shadow stays bad things, not by accident. Look at that, what that was, what set up those kind of crazy laws against everyone. Those are army positions. Not way worse than army. This is another nature. Before armies, that's what kept them knaves. This is this is what kept them in criminal insidious nature, self-valued, breaching screens and tools, victim predators. Forgiveness is for this, so we can allow equality of fact, cheap in nature, to speak for the law at last. Free speech. Fairness! What does that say? He's going to come back, turn around. You see, do not give up the finite. You give up logic's course, free speech at last. Boxings. I tell you things, behold. See, they have a crime method that makes people debate about logic and rely on experts. But see, those experts are recorded criminally foreign influence, delusions wrought and already long having been exploited that way, only capable of lie progression, self-value, means to hide them, not by accident right there. There's a whole nother, when do you think that went away? Hear many pray. When you think it went away, all the positions they took into the human fact treatment nature by locking people to roles with it, including our founders. Really, if you tell the history, what really is known very simple, they were fact treatment nature slaves, tortured. They did not have free speech, even to detail their roles with our American history honestly enough to an extent. And that's forced self glorified that way, not by accident, dishonestly. Because that's right there, a little kid could correlate that. See, they have little kids can tell, oh, the perfect world doesn't exist. Because we have some sick agencies. That's why they shouldn't have confessed that on Facebook, especially now that they complicated it by taking my first one away. It's more the fault of the branches of government. They use New Britain Superior Court's crime rules with principal sex offenders campus. Also, as people involved on and off religious spots of different types of the same religion as people involved with other religions. Jewish Community Center, internation racketeering here, with overt criminal enterprises, private, and sensibilities racketeering, where these people want to fight about positive as punks with punk premise treatments. That's why they say charged. Hitler, go after Hitler. No one says anything about Joseph Mengele. No one says anything about all the sick racketeering our founders want us to demonstrate with these fake logic racketeering. Free speech. See, the WFSB, Fox Connecticut News, and WTNH. If you don't want to respond to me, you want to keep your fake conversation with me up and all the lies you put in there, individually grouped and together. I want to. I need there's an Inspector Mike. There's also a Officer Jerry Miller, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with a Kerr family and with other police forms in the area involved also with house that they're involved with wire crimes with the stewards of the witness protection program. As people also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering acts roles with overt criminal enterprises, the same ones involved with that, and like Los Solitos, even on Facebook, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated a whole bunch of ways on and off Fox Connecticut News. Two Mendez police involved with them, racketeering with judges, with child sex, principal child sex offender, whole bunch of resource officers, retired and standing, and their families associated with Weathersfield schools, intercity schools, Glastonbury schools. You fools. Who knows? Now, you guys personally, I'm talking about people associated with this Scalora family. And now suddenly there are people with Avon, Simsbury, recorded. All these people involved with kids programs. Everyone speaking through other people. They're involved with racketeering here. You're missing because this is how it's off campuses, exploiting what they stay on off campuses needed to hide lie progressions tied to their roles with forced sustained confessions and demonstrations of the same police forms originally still recorded sick through the transition from ACA to RICO, transition into the Department of Homeland Security through criminal foreign influence. Those identity the ground locations on and off the colleges and universities involved with racketeering with the child campuses. The same families are involved with it. Whole bunch of people tied to a Mr. Pruzzi. I never had a conversation with him. Told me to do a maze one time with the DeMoro family. A whole bunch of people with the name DeMoro recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering acts intercities, on and off Trinity College, on and off CCSU, leading up to and in the Trade Center attack, also with judges, police families, a whole bunch of foreign families involved with them, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. A whole bunch of other nations involved with this Scalora family with racketeering with a house/ash in my area. For further recorded, confessed, demonstrated by Weathersfield police, involved with forging names, switching names, mail crime, wire crimes, they had some guy force himself into my house. I don't know what he just made. He said, "Don't mess with the Scloras," because he's involved with sequence shifts. They sought me out to make these confessions. That's some kid who didn't even go to my school years ago. Now some guy involved with a whole bunch of family members of him, interstates involved and foreign. Now she told someone I know with this tied to the racketeering with the World Trade Center that she had sex with Joe DeMoro, one of the Joe DeMoros. Now these are also people with the judges involved criminally all along that route, and like in Rocky Hill, where we have Zano's Battison's cleaner there. The one on the Saustein Highway also with an ass people involved with racketeering, with medical racketeering, foreign and domestic. I don't know the name of a woman. There's a woman doctor associated with a forensics state forensics place, and there's male doctors and there are judges with various natures of courts involved with racketeering with a house/s in my area, with proven and with proven recorded. They don't. I'm saying they proved this in a case, but it's recorded. Their roles with families that are on the sex offender registry with other natures of racketeering with them. Now these are the people that are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated since I'm a kid They have recorded racketeering rolls with everyone with the areas where they make fake sides of disputes, and they have sequence racketeering which is shared between them with those fake sides. And now see that's connected to how they used WFSB, Fox Connecticut News, WTNH, and how they're like using them to pretend it's personal when I say it. Because how are you going to say it? Fix the fake conversations you had with me. Fix your roles with recorded, confessed, demonstrated racketeering with falsified police reports, human trafficking, with not just with police and yourself and with judges and prosecutors and state's attorneys involved. Also, DACA is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated a whole bunch of people tied to them. I barely ever saw like Joe DeMoro and Mike Roberts in the same place. I think once or twice. I mean, in the same place at the same time. For example, Mike Roberts is also recorded. I don't know him. Barely know him. He's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with agencies. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated associated with medical racketeering clicks on and off Two Rod Highway, on and off where it runs into Hangdog Lane. Uses of the name Three Sticks. So we have to have a response. Give me a response in writing now for these fake people speaking for you, right through administrations. Don't pretend to have an election in this town that's legitimate. Get me a response in writing now. Have them pick one name in sequence now. They're going to stop speaking through other people, and you're going to see all the recorded threats and crime methods of sick natures of courts and of their family members, and how they are raised as victims, but as victim predators. Everyone speaking through other criminally and making things up, everyone. Individually grouped and together, every one of each branch. Individually grouped and together the branches themselves, not by accident.